Damn, our boy's looking pretty big today. So today in this video, we're going to be talking about how to actually make gains in the gym, and finally I can start making more fitness videos. And we're going to be talking about why you're not making progress in the gym. This whole fitness industry and this whole weightlifting stuff is very easy to misinterpret. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and especially if you're new onto self-improvement, you really don't understand, or you may not understand really on what to actually do, or how to actually make gains in the gym, or how to like get the body that you want. So here's a little bit of background info on me. I started working out seriously back in September of 2021. I was getting a little chubby, a little thick. Now, thankfully enough, I was always kind of like athletic to a degree. Like I was always kind of like an athletic person, but I was losing my physique. I did not look the best. And the first thing I did as soon as I went to the gym is I started trying my best to burn as much fat as possible. So I went on the calorie deficit. I rode the treadmill for like 30 minutes. I was burning probably like up to like 2,000, 3,000 calories a day. Maybe not 3,000, but around 2,000, something like 700 calories around there every single day. And the thing I noticed was that in about a month, I looked the exact same, just smaller. Yeah, you would think I'd get like all lean and shredded and shit like that. It's like, no, I just looked kind of fat like I did before, and I can show you a picture right here. And I just didn't really look that great, to be honest. Now, here's the real way to make real gains in the gym, and this video is going to be specific towards bulking. So if you don't know anything about bulking, we're going to be talking about this here in this video. So the real way to make gains in the gym is that you have to understand about how muscles actually grow. So the way muscles grow is that when you're working out and you're putting a lot of force or a lot of pressure onto your muscles and you're doing resistance training, there's like micro muscle fibers that like begin to tear apart, right? And as soon as you're done working out and as soon as you're done recovering, they start to grow back, except this time, since they were so stretched out, they just repair. They don't just seam back. So your muscles start to get like bigger over time. Now, this is a lot easier to do whenever you're new to the gym because, you know, they're a lot easier to pull out and a lot easier to, because, you know, you don't need a whole lot of weight to get you to gain muscle, because that's what you call newbie gains. That's what newbie gains are, is that like as soon as you start working out, you start to see tremendous progress for like the first 7-8 months of your gym workout routine. And the way this works, the way you can only do this, the only way you can really gain muscle is by doing a thing called progressive overload. So progressive overload is this idea that you begin to add more weight and you begin to do more intense reps later on when you start working out. So in the beginning, you might do like, you know, you might curl like 15-pound dumbbells, and then maybe 2 weeks later, you decide 15-pound dumbbells are too easy, and then that's when you start to do 20-pound dumbbells. So it's like you have to start lifting more the longer you are working out. That's like the whole idea of this, is that you need to do more the longer you go into the gym, because this is the only way you're going to gain progress. How are you going to gain progress when you're doing the same weight for like months? It's just going to start to get too easy. So you got to challenge yourself here. That's the real way to do it. That's the real way to actually gain proper muscle, because now, since you're working out for like several months, now you're going to need to add more weight to tear those muscle fibers. Now, I don't mean like tearing your muscle, but I mean like pull your muscle fibers and then they begin to repair. But it takes a lot more force later on when you start working out. That's why it's important to do those progressive overload workouts. So the reason why most people don't make progress is because they have such a bad misinterpretation on what to actually do in the gym. And quite frankly, like I talked about bulking earlier in this video, it's because unless you're 700 pounds or some shit, everybody needs to start bulking when they start working out. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, I want to go to get, oh my God, bro. When people say, I want to go to the gym to get lean, I don't want to be too big. Motherfucker, you're never going to ever be too big. You're never going to get big. If you have that mindset of, oh, I just want to get lean, you're never going to fucking get close to being lean. Bulking is the way to go. And we're going to talk about this in this video right here, right? So you've probably heard this a lot before by fitness YouTubers, like bulking, right? So it's basically you consume a high surplus of calories. Now, you can do two ways of bulking. You can either do dirty bulking, which I don't recommend you do, and it's what the fucking impatient motherfuckers do, or you can do the clean bulk. And the clean bulk is definitely lean bulking is what they like to call it. It takes way more time. Like, it takes a much longer time to do lean bulking than dirty bulking. But in return, you gain way more muscle than you gain fat. So the bulk is a lot cleaner, it looks a lot nice. You know, like, you don't look like you're fat. You know what I mean? So it's really, really good. Now, what are the best foods to consume while you're bulking? In my opinion, you can consume like whey protein and like protein powder and stuff like that. Fair enough. Yeah, like that stuff works. I say the best things to consume while you're bulking is chicken. Chicken is like going to be your best friend for bulking because chicken is so dense in a protein. It's so dense in all of these like nutrients, and it's really, really good for your filling stomach. So it doesn't leave you hungry, it leaves you like pretty full and stuff like that, which is good because now you have eaten and consumed a food that's high on protein, but you're not eating like a lot of food, if that makes sense. And also, rice, healthy like grained rice is really, really good. Now, grained rice doesn't have much protein in it, but what this does give you is it gives you carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are pretty much what you need to like gain energy. So having like chicken and grained rice is like the best meal. If you can eat that like every day, that's like awesome. That's like perfect. Like you're good to go. And there will be people that will be like, well, I don't want to eat chicken and rice every day because it does, you know, it's gonna get old and everything. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's other foods you can try out there, but I think the thing that's important to think about is that animals eat for survival. They don't necessarily eat for enjoyment or pleasure, if that makes sense. So, like, for example, cows eat grass to survive. They don't eat grass because, you know, like, oh, I enjoy it and everything. Maybe they do. I don't know. But you get what I mean, though. Everybody that starts working out should start bulking, like, immediately. Like, we can talk about, like, when you should stop bulking and all that stuff, but I think, honestly, you'll know when you need to stop bulking. Because typically, you have a relatively high body fat percentage whenever you think it's time to stop bulking and you're, like, looking kind of chubby. That's when you kind of know you need to stop bulking. Now, it's a little bit easier to do that when you're dirty bulking because it's easy to see all the fat that you have. But I'm telling you, clean bulking is the best. Like, it's the better option by far. It literally is. Think of it like this, right? You're looking better bulking and you're gaining more muscle. So yeah, although it's in the long run and everything, like it's going to be a lot longer to bulk, you're gaining way more muscle than when you're dirty bulking. So really, the time kind of just evens out because now all that time that you gained fat, now you have to burn all that fat. Oh, but I only gained like this much muscle. But when you were clean bulking, you were gaining this much muscle. You see what I mean there? It's just something to really think about. Let's just say everything we've established in this video so far. So the real way to make gains in the gym is progressive overload. That's one thing. Progressive overload is the only way you're actually going to make progress in the gym. One thing that's going to help with the progressive overload is bulking. Because bulking, you're going to gain weight, you're going to be able to lift heavier weights. Bulking and progressive overload are very important. We can also talk about pre-workout and all that stuff, but I think pre-workout is one of those things where you can take it when you start working out, but I think you should kind of be like, I don't want to call it not natural, but you kind of want to be like refrain from pre-workout and supplements until for like the first few months of your workout journey. I just think it's important to just kind of get into the gym first and really understand like the fundamentals on like actually how to like gain the aesthetic body and everything, because that is going to be what actually matters. The supplements is just a supplement, like it just helps you. It doesn't really, it's not the crutch to your progress or anything. It just helps you kind of lift that extra weight or do the extra rep whenever you couldn't do it without pre-workout. But yeah, progressive overload and bulking. If you're not bulking right now, you need to. I made a video back a while ago called you don't deserve to cut weight yet, and it probably applies to you too. I'll link it down below. Take care, guys. See you later.